Hi everyone. So I'm here to go over the Week 2 Summative Assessment Written Communication webpage with you. This assignment, out of the 3 written assignments for this class, is always the one that ends up being the most confusing for students. So before I go over this page and the template that you're going to use, I'm going to try to set the scenario up for you. And this is what it is, okay? So you have to keep this in mind when you are creating this web page that is going to go on your company's website. And that's what this is. You are a manager for a company, a hypothetical company that you make up based on some criteria that we'll go over. And the company is asking you to create a website, or no, I'm sorry, a web page for employees about the types of communication that is expected at your company and the types of channels that are specifically used at your company and for what purpose. So you are creating this website for new employees who are joining this company and they want to learn more about what types of communication are available, what communication expectations there are, and how different communication channels are used. But here is the important detail. It is not about communication between employees and customers or clients. It is about communication that is used internally within the company. So you are basically, again, letting the employees know how communication, especially professional communication, is used within the company to talk with each other. And that could be employees to employees, and I guess they're all employees, but certain employees to managers, managers to employees, employees to employees. And based on the company, what those channels are, the 5 channels that are going to be most commonly used, with specific and concrete examples of how they're used in their company, okay? So internally, within the company, between employees. So this is a website being created for new employees to learn about communication. And it's also a way for you to reflect what you've learned in the first 2 weeks about communication, about professional communication, and about the different channels of communication. And I'm also going to explain one more thing. There are 2 areas of communication. There's the way we communicate, which is orally or verbally, and in writing. Those are the main 2 styles of communication. And when we communicate in writing, that could be through email, through letters, through postcards, blogs, reports, right? Any kind of written document, hard copy or digital. Styles are how we communicate verbally or orally. And we could do that on the phone, face-to-face, through a video call, but those are just all the ways in which a person can hear our voice and sometimes see us and read our body language or nonverbal communication. So you're being asked to choose 5 communication channels. So let me go through this with you. So this talks about the scenario that I just set up, okay? You are a private or public or global workplace. You get to choose. Here's what I explained about being a manager and creating a web page or a page with multiple links about communication. You want to make sure you go over communication from our textbook, specifically the 6 C's of communication, because that's going to help you talk about professional communication. And then you want to think about what kind of a company you are. None of this has to be written down. It's all for you to determine who you are, and so what kind of channels of communication you need and what are going to be most effective in order to communicate all the different types of communication or forms and channels that need to be in your company. Before you create, you want to think about these things. You don't, again, this is for yourself. You can write them down, you can take notes, but you don't have to put it in the assignment. It's again just to help you to create this web page document. And now here are the instructions. This is the template you're going to use. I'm going to show that to you in a moment. but these are the instructions and they match the instructions that are on the template. So there's going to be a section for you to introduce your company briefly to the new employees. And this is really important. And this is sometimes not included, or students get confused about this section. And that is, you want to tell these employees what professional communication means, what it is. You want to describe it. Describing is telling someone what something is to allow them to almost visualize it. Because some people don't know what professional communication is, or it could mean one thing in one situation and another in another situation. So you need to tell them what that means at your company. What do you require from the type of communication your employees use? The kinds of language they use, the kind of English, standard English, the grammar, whatever professional communication means to you, you need to describe that. And it has to be described after you introduce the company in a minimum of 35 words. And then you want to include a section that describes there's going to be 5 sections, each describing one channel of communication used in your company. You're going to describe that channel. I'm going to show you the template. And then you're going to provide specific examples of what that looks like, how that is specifically used in the company. And I will give you some examples. You can be creative about your company. You can make up a name. Your overall content from the description and to each of the 5 channels should be at least 350 words. You want to include graphics, pictures, because that's engaging and also complements the text. And if you do use any sources, you want to cite them in APA. And if you have a reference page with reference citations at the end, then you need to make sure that you acknowledge what idea or information inside the text you use, and then put a parenthetical citation directly following that idea or information. And then, of course, review it, right? Check it through your grammar checkers, through Grammarly, and then you submit it. All this means is you just submit it by attaching and uploading it into the assignment section. Okay, so now let's go over what the template looks like. Let's go over that. The template. So it's easy for you to just plug in your text in the sections. So okay, so you are creating this you're not creating a web page. You are just creating the text and the visuals that are going to go on the web page. The IT department will place it online in the proper place on the website. So this is the template. So the first page, or the first page on communication, they would go to the main homepage. And here it says, introduction of the business and description of what professional communication means. A minimum of 35 words. So just to clarify, introduce your company, 2 or 3 sentences, and then in 35 words, what professional communication means. So you can put it all here. You can erase the brackets if you want and just put the text here. And then include your visual, something that relates and engages and contributes to understanding of this section. So you don't have to have this, you can erase that. I would leave this here for you to see that, because sometimes students erase it and then forget and then leave out components. And then they would click on this link and it would take them to that linked page. And this would be right here. You would write whatever that is, like maybe this is email is one of your channels. Now, here you're going to describe what email is. So we talked about email in week 1, right? And we talked about the advantages of email. And here's where you're going to describe what email is. It's a digital writing platform, right? It is text, but it's digital. You can send it to multiple people. Other things you can do with it, what makes it important in professional communication. As if a person didn't really know, I don't know, they didn't understand, they didn't use email, you're going to describe it to them. And then here you're going to give examples. In our company, at the beginning of the week, the manager or the owner or supervisor sends an email to everyone, welcoming them to the week and communicating events that will be happening that week or important information for that week in order to make sure everybody has it and that it's sent to everybody and allows people to respond with questions if they choose. Whatever that specific example is, with a little explanation and examples, so 2 or 3 with some graphics. And then you're going to do the same thing here. Whatever other channel. There's a lot of channels, right? Emails, social media, blogs, reports, memos, phone calls, Zoom meetings or Microsoft Team meetings, IMs. There's probably more channels, but you're going to pick 5. And you're going to continue to include those 5 based on what kind of company you are and what makes sense based on all the types of communication. If it's a small company or a company where there are people who maybe go off into the field, maybe IM or text messaging is important. So it's based on the company and the needs of that company communication-wise, and then describing it and giving specific examples. And then if you have a reference, put that here. I'm going to add another page in the announcements on APA formatting and reference citation. And then when you're done, you're going to proofread it and grammar check it and then submit it. So I hope this helps. There's some other resources here for you. But as always, if you have additional questions for me, just reach out, send me a message, and I'll be happy to help you. All right. I hope you're having a good week. Bye.